Husband and wife, Michael and Carly, have teamed up with Carly's brother, Henry, to restore 35,000 square foot mansion Middleton Park house as their home. 7 months after they bought the house, work has started at last on the leaky roof. But there's been a hold-up already.
Oh my God, I was in the bedroom, the next thing I heard this awful crash. And I went running out thinking someone had been hurt. And what do I see but Michael's bottom, the ceiling, it caved in. We knew it was kind of rotten up there. The whole thing just caved. Mick had to kind of slide in under boards, and he said his bottom actually went straight through. So it needed to come out anyway, but it always looks so much worse when you know what I mean, when it's an open wound like that. Anyway, every day is a new challenge.
Michael is focusing on the roof. The previous owners spent a great deal on fixing leaks, but it's still the source of many of the problems here.
I spent more time up here than anywhere else in the house. We're under serious time pressure now. Since the middle of August, we'd love to have been started on the roof before now, but we weren't.
It's proving hard to pin down the exact cause of the leaks, and more importantly, to find a solution.
It's complicated. That's probably the worst thing, actually, is just figuring out the different approaches. Over the years, there's been so much damage, and I think it's possibly the most important thing to get right. We've got a lot of different pieces of roof here. It's kind of the equivalent of about 10 houses worth of roofs.
I've come to the Registry of Deeds in Dublin to meet historian Nicola Morris. She has been researching the man who built Middleton Park House.
So George Boyd Rochford built Middleton Park House, and he did this in 1850 when he was just 33 years of age.
So this house was built just after the Great Famine.
And there wasn't much other building going on.
And the house was built obviously as a statement of his...
About George comes from testimony that he gave to a House of Commons hearing.
The hearing was about civil unrest in County Westmeath, which was at its peak at this time. Boyd Rochford proposed a tax on old households, including the poorest, to fund compensation for landowners who were targeted for evicting tenants.
So he's a very charming and convincing witness. He extols his own virtues, and he talks about what a great landlord he is. This testimony that he gives is then countered by the Bishop of Meath, Thomas Nulty.
The bishop made it clear that Boyd Rochford was personally responsible for much of the unrest by evicting tenants from the land around Middleton Park House.
If you have once witnessed it, you must ever remember it. The speechless agony of men, the piteous shriek and wailings of women, the horror and consternation of children as their houses are pulled down, their homes demolished and themselves sent adrift into the world. And that's one of the things that he accused Rochford of doing, is of tearing down the houses of people who've been evicted.
It's quite, a horrific scene.
And I think even today, locally, people would have that idea of him being not a very good landlord.
And yet, the house survives the War of Independence and the Civil War, which is quite surprising.
Well, Rochford dies in the 1880s, and he's succeeded by his son. His son died, and his son's wife, Florence, a young woman, took over the estate. And I think she is maybe responsible for restoring the family's standing. And we think that she was an employer of a lot of the local people in the area, the masons, the carpenters, the grooms and stablemen who appear on the census, who would have been needed.
Yeah, it's hard for us to understand, but these estates were like little mini businesses or industries in themselves, keeping communities together.
Exactly, yeah. So perhaps a more benevolent estate owner, it's the widow Florence.
So if you like, she rehabilitated the house within the community. On site, finding a way to fix the roof and heat the house should be occupying most of our trio's thoughts, but they are finding time for more interesting short-term distractions.
I'm cutting the grass. So far I'm really enjoying it. Cutting grass is sort of relaxing as well. You don't have to decide anything, you just go up and down the lines.
To join their fleet of red quad bike and red lawnmower, Today they're taking receipt of another, bigger red lawnmower.
Are the blades peculiar now? Are they hard to catch, or are they?
It's the same sort of blade as a lawnmower, basically.
Carly and Michael's house has sold, and they and Henry are now living in Middleton Park House full time. Carly has taken on the challenge of decorating. In order to keep costs in check, she's scouring auctions across the country.
Middleton is so huge. I can't be buying new furniture. I need to go to the auctions.
But not all of her finds are entirely practical.
So these are some of the bits and pieces. This piece is interesting because they call them specimen cabinets. But there's all these quite shallow drawers for either jewellery or gloves or silk scarves or whatever. There's just a little cake stand. Well, Mick just doesn't be buying anything because he says it's way too soon. But I'm just going to nibble away. Because they're such good prices, you know, so I can resist anything but temptation.
Decorating a house on Middleton Park scale requires a particular approach. Carly needs to think big, so I brought her to Ballyfin Domain in County Laois. Built in the 1820s, it may be 30 years older than Middleton Park House, but it shares many of the features, including another Turner glasshouse. In Ballyfin's high-ceilinged drawing room, we get a sense of the layout, scale and amount of furnishing a room like this requires. This room is about the scale of your drawing room. You have 3 bays with lots of light coming in, but you can see the actual size of this room and the amount of furniture it can absorb.
Oh, yeah. It's quite amazed actually how many couches are in here. 1, 2, 6 couches. Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And the layout of the room is great because if you like, you can have a party here, you can have another little conversation over there, you can play poker here. So
gorgeous, yeah.
it's a lovely assembly of areas.
It is actually,
within
yeah.
the room.
I wouldn't think to do that. Very, very nice.
For Middleton to finally shed its hotel identity, Carly needs to go big and bold with colour, but she's no easy convert. So what we have here is a wonderful cantilevered staircase, not dissimilar to yours, except your entrance hall is 4 times the size of this room.
I know.
The reason I brought you into this hall is to show you the colours, and I think you should be a bit brave. I'm just interested to see what colours you're thinking of at the moment.
I absolutely love white.
Not white.
I just don't know if I'm brave enough.
Well, I think you have to be, because I think if you use white in that space, it'll be boring. And also your lovely cast iron,
I don't think I touched the cast iron.
but it's in black.
It is, yes.
And I think you should be looking at a different colour as well. So that'll give you a couple of hours of pleasure, painting slowly.
You mean change all the cast iron and paint it?
Yeah, you need to paint the cast iron.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, look, what else are you going to be doing?
I love black and white. Do you think that'd be quite...
No. Not today.
I'm going to say a definitive no to that. But the walls, yes, you take that on board.
Yeah. It's November, and despite progress on the roof and with decoration work, Middleton is still seriously cold.
Mick, a cup of tea for you, Pat.
Michael, Carly and her brother Henry had set themselves a target of Christmas for getting the house up and running in a functional state. Now they've decided to up their game and aim for a new date, Thanksgiving, which is just over a week away. They hope it will jumpstart progress and showcase their new home to their friends.
The idea for Thanksgiving was to get a few people together. I suppose it's a deadline as well to maybe help just to push on with a few jobs.
They have invited 10 friends, some from as far away as California, to join them for a Thanksgiving dinner and to stay over.
So we'll have certain things done. Now we're not going to have the heating system functional by then. That's turning out to be a little bit complicated to get sorted out. We should have our kitchen working. We'll have a lot of bedrooms ready, which is great. So we just have to make do with electric heaters and so on.
But there's a setback straight away.
Oh, bit of bad news. I had to ring the delivery guy for the beds. The man's a problem with machines. There's no beds made.
Great.
So we've gone from 12 beds coming to no beds.
That's fine. No.
Their Thanksgiving guests are arriving in a week, but there's no heating, no beds, and missing windows in many of the bedrooms. They've added to the challenge by aiming to fit a new kitchen before the big event. Carly has reached the end of her patience with the makeshift kitchen, which is simply not fit for Thanksgiving preparation.
I can't wait to get out of this room. I feel like I'm in a cave. I absolutely hate this room. And I've just been cooking here for the last 6 months. For Thanksgiving, a ham, a turkey, and all the other things. There's no way I'd manage with this.
Henry is taking a calm approach to the task ahead.
The big push now is the Thanksgiving, and obviously we had to suspend roof works. Cutting it very fine, but isn't that always the way?
A week later, Thanksgiving is only a day away. The American visitors fly in today, but the Middleton Park to-do list is still as long as your arm.
The priority right now is get out of the hall and to get a kitchen working. Hopefully this morning we'll have finished doing repairs, which is great because that ceiling has been bad for a long time, long before we ever came here.
It's all go on site. To give the house a more finished look, Henry's job is to frame and hang paintings to decorate the reception rooms. His son has created a series of masterpieces based around the house's most important characters, Henry's dog Milo and cat Parker, as well as Carly's dachshund Malteser.
I have to say I'm no expert. I just go on YouTube. YouTube is like my tutor. Years of experience in 5 minutes.
Elsewhere in the house, they managed to find some beds, and Carly is doing her best to make the bedrooms bearably warm. They want their friends to love the house as much as they do, rather than experience their stay as an endurance test.
It's pretty Baltic, and they've all been asking me what's the dress code, so I just do laughing emojis. Warm and fabulous, actually, I said to one girl.
The guests are on their way from the airport, and Michael is tidying up the entrance hall. They had hoped that the house would make an impact, but there's one major obstruction to that plan. A cherry picker they bought has broken down outside, and they can't move it.
Everything looks all nice except for this broken piece of machinery right in the middle of everything, but look, we're still kind of work in progress.
The first guests have arrived, and the rest are on their way. They've come all the way from California, but they're put to work straight away. With the countdown to dinner underway, the kitchen is going in at last.
I just need to put 2 screws and then the oven is ready. It's going straight into use.
There's no delay in christening the new oven. No sooner is it in and turned on than the Thanksgiving turkey goes in.
I don't know how long it's going to take to warm up this oven. Hopefully it won't be too long.
How do I work it? I've just got to make one more dessert, and then I've literally got to try and find cutlery, plates, dress the table, and get myself dressed.
The food is in the oven, the table is set, and the guests have begun to arrive. But Henry is still in his work gear. He wants to ensure the new chandelier is in place in the entrance hall.
Lads always feel relaxed and they don't realise what it takes. I actually don't know why they're continuing with the chandelier. We've run out of time, and this is when accidents happen. Park it. There's no need for the chandelier. Stop. You know what I mean? No.
Henry has climbed into the attic to pull the chandelier into place. If this dramatic DIY moment goes awry, there will be hundreds of euro wasted and a lot of broken crystal to clear up. With dinner about to be served, Carly may wish that Henry would give up this potentially smashing venture, but it's proving to be a spectator sport for the guests. The chandelier spins into place, and all is forgiven between big sister Carly and brother Henry.
Earlier in the day, I actually was going to just do the bridesmaids, the flop, and because I was getting so stressed. I actually can't believe it's all come together.
It's starting to all look a little bit more.
It's starting to look a lot like Christmas. Here comes the third musketeer, and oh Jesus, I love the trouser. Okay guys, indulge and bulge. Welcome, welcome to Miller's. Lovely to have you all here.
After all that rushing around and last-minute panic, Carly, Michael and Henry can relax at last and give thanks that, chilly house aside, the three musketeers have pulled it off. Now all that remains is to finish the house. Carly? Well, you're going to show me around.
Yes,
Go on.
absolutely.